Welcome back to the Base Talk podcast. I am your host, Jacob Billingsley, owner and founder of Base Sports Performance in Hernando, Mississippi. Today's podcast topic is hard work is not enough. All right. Welcome back to the podcast. So like I mentioned, today's topic is hard work is not enough. This is a conversation I've kind of found myself having a decent amount recently with some evaluations that are coming in, kind of with some new athletes that are, potentially a little frustrated with where they are. Maybe they're frustrated with their performance, or they're frustrated with their lack of recruitment from like a collegiate standpoint. Several times we'll come in and the parent, will say, little Johnny he works so hard. He does this and he does this. And he stays up until, 1 a.m. doing this. He's hitting balls in the garage and stuff like that. And that's all great, right? Hard work is obviously needed, but it's not enough, right? Just doing the hard work is not going to get you what you want. You still got to have a plan. You still got to stick to the plan. And you still got to understand that, again, hard work isn't enough. It no longer is enough to get you where you want to go. 20, 30 years ago, you could just work hard at something and probably be the best at that sport. That's not the case anymore. There is so much more competition happening. There's more people that are all competing for the same amount of spots, and there's more competition. Hard work is no longer enough to get you there. And that brings us to kind of the first point I want to make here is hard work is the first step. Hard work is the entry to play the game that you want to play, right? So hard work is just that. It's getting you to a position to where you can then start to play that game. Hard work is not a differentiator. It does not make you different from the person beside you competing for the same position in that same roster spot as you. Everyone works hard, right? Especially in today, these youth sports, middle school sports, high school, college, everyone that is playing a sport is working hard to some capacity. And if you're working hard and that's the only thing that you're doing, how is that separating you from the person that's competing against you, right? There's got to be a separator. There's got to be a differentiator there. And hard work just simply is not enough to differentiate you anymore. So kind of understanding that, again, really the main point I want to get across, especially to athletes that are listening and to parents that are listening, just to try to hopefully educate you guys and not allow you to waste time, in your athlete's development career, is that hard work does not guarantee you success and the goal. Hard work does not guarantee you a roster spot. Hard work does not guarantee you great performance. It doesn't guarantee you any of that, right? Hard work is just the entry into the game that you want to play. It allows you to take the first step to then take the other steps to get you where you want to go. Hard work doesn't guarantee success. So one thing I want to mention here is a good quote that I saw recently, and it says, "You have to determine what you will need to reach your goals and make the tough and uncomfortable decisions to stick to that plan." So again, you've got to work hard. It's besides the point. You've got to work hard no matter what you do. Everyone works hard, but it's not enough. You still have to determine what is it that's going to get me to my goal. What is my lowest hanging fruit that I need to attack to make me better at the skill or make me better physically? Or maybe it's a nutrition component, or maybe it's a sleep and recovery component. Whatever that is, that's something that you need to sit down and think, what is my constraint? What is holding me back from taking that next step in my athletic career? And then from there, once we understand what is it holding me back, then I can make a plan to attack that, right? And again, that's why we're here. That's why Base Sports Performance is here. We're here to help you with that. That's what our initial evaluation process is for, so we can kind of understand where we are, what the athlete's goals are, and then help them make that plan from there. So determine what you need, determine the plan that you're going to attack to get you there, and then this is the hard part. I need you to listen here. make the tough and uncomfortable decisions to stick to that plan. So it's very easy to jump from thing to thing. It's very easy to get, 3 months into a program or 3 months into your plan, whatever it is, and say, man, I'm not there yet. I haven't progressed the way that I want to progress. I still am not performing the way I want to perform. I'm still not getting a ton of recognition from a recruitability standpoint. You have to understand that we have to hit the pause button. There's a reason that we stop to think, what is it that can get me to the next goal? What do I need? There's a reason that we set a plan to get there. You still have to make the uncomfortable and tough decision to stick to the plan. It's going to be super easy for you to want to jump ship. It's going to be super easy for you to see some new shiny object, some new shiny program, something new that's coming up on social media, something new that is randomly coming up that one of your teammates are doing, or that maybe a professional athlete in your sport is doing, and for you to want to chase that. But what they're doing at that point in their career is not necessarily what you need to be doing to get to your next step. It's like a staircase. You've got to take one step at a time. You can't just jump to the 10th step. If you do, obviously we're kind of missing the boat there. We're putting our eggs in the wrong basket. We have got to understand that this is a long-term development, and that you've got to understand what the plan is, stick to that plan. It's very uncomfortable and it's tough to do, but that's the only way to make progress towards what you want to do. And then the last quote I want to mention here is, making good decisions and being consistent is far more important than working 10 times harder at something else. So again, coming back to the plan, making sure that we're looking at, what is my low-hanging fruit? How am I going to attack that? How am I going to get better at that? That's the plan. We determined what the plan was. We're sticking to the plan, and we're being consistent with that plan. We are not focusing our attention on 5, 6, 8 different things and splitting our time and attention between those 5, 6, 8 different things. We are determining what is the 1 or 2 things that we have got to get better at now that's going to help me take that next step. And then once we get there, we do it again. We make a plan. What is it going to help me take that second step? Once we reach that, we set back again. What is my next step? So it's got to be one step at a time, and you can't jump around, because if you try to jump around, that's where you get in trouble. And that's where, all of a sudden, you're a freshman that, is kind of looking forward to, going to college, and we're jumping around from program to program. And all of a sudden you look up and you're in the middle of your junior year and you still weigh the same amount. Your strength has gotten better maybe, but the performance hasn't. And now we've just wasted almost 2 years 2 or more years of time that we could have been developing and taking those steps at a time. So if you start early enough, you are going to make sure that you have enough time to take those steps to get you where you need to go. But if you jump around, you hop around, and you're not focused, and you can't stick with the tough and uncomfortable decisions, that's where you get into trouble, and that's where you start really losing a lot of time where you could have been developing. And then kind of coming back to that last thing I mentioned, making those good decisions, understanding what you need to do, making the good decisions, and then being consistent at that is way more important. It's far more important than just working 10 times harder at something else. So again, if I go, into the garage and I hit 500 baseballs a day, and I think that that's what's going to help me get recruited and be, a collegiate athlete in baseball, that may help you with the swing, right? But if your constraint, if your lowest hanging fruit was mobility or strength or nutrition, and that's not what we're focusing on. If we're focused on hitting 500 baseballs a day, that's not going to get us where we want to go. You're working your tail off. You're hitting 500 baseballs a day. That is working hard. That is super hard work, right? That's working 10 times harder at something else. But if we're working on the wrong thing, that's not going to get us to where we need to go. So we got to make sure that we are understanding what is our low-hanging fruit, what are we working on, stick to that plan. Once we get there, we make a new plan. Once we get there, we make a new plan. But we don't hop from plan to plan until we reach what we're trying to do in the short term. That way we can actually get where we want to go in the long term. So making those good decisions and being consistent with those decisions is far more important than working 10 times harder at something else. So again, kind of want to just recap. Hard work is not enough. You've got to understand what you need to do. You've got to make a plan. You got to stick to the plan. Everyone is working hard. So if everyone is working hard and all you're doing is working hard, that's not a differentiator. There's got to be some sort of separation between you and the person that you're competing with. Additionally, hard work doesn't guarantee success. If I'm hitting 500 baseballs a day, I'm working hard. That still doesn't guarantee that if my goal was to play collegiate baseball, that's not guaranteeing me that I can play collegiate baseball, right? I'm working hard, but hard work does not guarantee success. You still have to work smart. You have to have a plan, stick to the plan. And then the last two quotes I'm going to recap. You have to determine what you will need to reach your goals and make the tough and uncomfortable decision to stick to the plan. Don't hop around, stick to the plan. Once you reach that goal, make a new goal, make a new plan, and then follow that plan to help you until you get to that goal. The last one was making good decisions and being consistent is way more important than working 10 times harder at something else. So work on the right things, work smart, understand what the full picture looks like, and try not to hop around, because if you do, you're going to be discouraged by working your butt off and not getting what you want out of it. So if this is something that you need help with, if you're a local athlete, you're an athlete or a parent that wants to get in, wants to talk about a plan, talk about what the next step is, shoot us a text, shoot us an email. We'd love to help you. If this is something that helped you, or if it's something that someone that you know needs to hear, please share it with them. Copy the link, send it to them, allow them to listen to it. If y'all have other podcast topics you'd like to hear, shoot us a text, shoot us a DM, and we will make that happen. So until I talk to you guys in the next podcast, have a great day.